Hello Galactic family, I have been getting a message from the Lighted Ones over the past few days about an accelerated ascension timeline for September. It's odd, because for the past few weeks, I have been trying to peer into September to see what's up energetically so I could prepare my energy update video for my YouTube channel. I love doing these videos for you, and so when I couldn't see September's energies, I was a bit perplexed. Then a few days ago when I got the message about the acceleration, I was excited and curious. Excited about the idea of acceleration and of finally having a topic for the September video, and also curious about what that meant exactly. The energies started to come in a few days ago and they are huge. The details have slowly been coming in over the past week. This morning I was sitting with my morning coffee, checking in to see what was on the agenda. I kept hearing the info about September and was preparing to record my video even though September is still a week away. I figured it was okay that it came a bit early since they've been talking non-stop about acceleration anyway. Usually when I record a video, I create a list of bullet points to share and always manage to find a point of connection from where to begin. This time, it wasn't coming through clearly. So, I decided to sit and write to Amar and get some clarity. For those of you who are new to my work, the Lighted Ones are a multi-dimensional council of several hundred beings and my higher self, Amar speaks for them. I call them my guides, but they are more like a council of advisors that I am also a part of. Kind of a United Nations sort of thing, but without the creepy shadow influence. It's a mind-bending, Inception, interstellar sort of thing to try and comprehend, so rather than try and make a distinction, I just call them my light team or my the guides. Anyway, as I sat down to get some intel from them, it quickly became clear that this was going to be a written post. Even though I was really looking forward to recording and editing my first video on my new laptop today. In the beginning, back in 2012/2013 when TLO first made contact, the primary way of communication was through channeled writing. That evolved into a brief period of my doing conscious channeling sessions and videos after Amar introduced himself in late 2014/early 2015. Forgive me, the details of the events are a bit blurry through this rapid expansion. Now, it's like a live stream connection to Amar speaking for TLO, and when I connect to do readings or videos it's basically a mind meld and the merging of information is seamless. I don't differentiate between when I am speaking or when Amar is speaking in sessions or during videos, as there is no separation. I share this background info because I know many of you have gotten to know me through my videos, and so perhaps you have never read a post from TLO. Anyway, without further commentary from me, here is the latest update on what's on tap for September. You are currently in a corridor of preparation. The collective has chosen an accelerated timeline and everything has shifted. There are always many probable timelines available to you in any moment. There were several potential timelines beginning in September that would carry you through the rest of the year. It was always going to be a major milestone in the ascension process, it was just a matter of how rapidly it would occur. The Lion's Gate portal of this year was a testing ground, so to speak. Those of us who are tasked with monitoring the state of humanity to ensure that this process unfolds in the most compassionate way possible, were waiting to see how your planet would respond to the energies and in turn the effect that it would have on all that is. The current astrological aspects are also in support of rapid expansion and growth. The two timelines that were the most likely for this period were both ones of continued ascension. However, there was one that could be labeled more intermediate and one that was considered to be more advanced and accelerated. You are ready for and have chosen the accelerated timeline. Surprisingly, this was not the timeline that had the greatest probability of coming to the fore. We were pleasantly surprised by how quickly and how resiliently you were as a collective able to integrate these energies. You may be wondering who exactly chose the accelerated path. You did. Your choices made through your human experience as well as the choices from your higher selves and light teams all made the decision together to proceed on this timeline. Those of us working behind the scenes of your experience have been moving quickly to prepare for the advanced timeline scenarios that are already unfolding. The ones who you would deem the dark cats have seen their power and control reduced dramatically, much to their dismay. Those of you who are tasked with being way showers and guides, who are what we would consider to be of the first and second wave, have expanded rapidly and moved well beyond our previous expectations. The third wave that is arriving at its peak in September is already being felt and received by many of you. This third wave of energy is in large part the reason for the acceleration. The effect of this wave will be tremendous and will awaken the third wave of those on the chosen path of ascension. Consider for a moment an image of actors getting ready to go on stage for their opening night performance. Suddenly the director calls the cast and crew together and says that there have been some script revisions, modifications to the set design, and some cast changes too. He says that everyone has an hour to make all of the necessary changes as opening night will go on as scheduled. You can imagine the flurry of activity that would occur. This is an apt analogy of what is currently happening. What does this mean for your practical day-to-day lives? First, it means that September and the rest of the year will see even more intense and rapid growth in all areas. It will, as always, be relative to where you are at any given moment. Great care is consistently taken to ensure that you will never be pushed beyond the limits of what you can handle. However, consider that it will be like an athlete who has suddenly decided to move her training to something more along the lines of a high-intensity workout. She will work within the acceptable limits of what she is capable of, but she will be pushing herself in all areas and will be putting her skills and abilities to the test. She will discover new limits and levels of endurance by going beyond what her mind and body thought she was previously capable of. Secondly, it means that for the next week or so, many of you may find your connections to your guides, higher selves and light teams will be different or off. You may also experience physical shifts and symptoms. This is no cause for concern and is temporary. Of course, seek medical attention if you feel it is required. The rapid shift to this timeline has accelerated everything, including frequency upgrades and energy downloads. It is similar to when your computer needs a software update and briefly needs to go offline to reboot, download and update the information and restart. This will mean different things for all of you depending on where you stand. Andrew is already finding himself napping more frequently throughout the day, as often his sleep is not restful because he is quite active in dream state at night. As always, honor the needs of the emotional, physical, energetic, mental and spiritual selves. Check in frequently at these 5 levels of awareness to see what these different aspects require to be healthy, balanced, and thriving. We have guided Andrew to begin each day by checking in with these levels of self to see what is on the agenda for each of them. Also, checking in throughout the day whenever he feels off, or stuck, or uncertain of how to proceed brings immediate clarity to the situation. As a result of this reboot, on the other side of August, many of you will see rapid shifts in your awareness, your connectedness, your abilities and your experience of what you perceive. It will be a very sudden, rapid, upgrade that will surprise many of you. Thirdly, it means that you may see plans suddenly changing. What you had previously perhaps planned to do next month may either happen much sooner, or will no longer be a viable option at all. You may find sudden shifts in relationships, living situations, jobs, geographical location, etc., that suddenly require your attention and awareness. Everything is always planned from your current energetic state at any given moment in time. When a big leap occurs in your current time-space position, subsequently everything that was to come shifts rapidly too. This often means that what was previously a high potentiality for manifestation as an experience becomes null and void. The best guidance we can give for the next few months is go with the flow. Lastly, we would advise you to go into meditation, connect with your higher selves and your light teams and request that any previous downloads or integrations that have not been completed be processed at this time. The waves of energy that have been arriving at your planet and to yourselves beginning in September of last year have been some of the most powerful energies you have ever had access to while in human form. Oftentimes your higher selves and light teams make the decision to hold off on certain updates to allow you time to rest and recover before the next integration. We wish for you to understand that there is very little if any time for rest in between the energies that are now beginning to arrive and that will continue on into 2017. This is no cause for alarm, this is actually quite an exciting development. You have all exceeded any previous projections of what you could handle and are well capable of handling this. It should be noted that many souls will leave the planet in the months to come through their own experience. This is always in line with their soul choices and the divine will. No one is ever subject to something happening to them that is outside of their sovereign choice. Many souls agreed to come live incarnate to hold space until the current timeline began to unfold, allowing their energies to serve in support of the collective. Other souls knew that they would have a choice as to whether or not they would ascend at this time and held the option to make their decision once this timeline arrived and are making their decisions now. Still others simply knew that they would not be making the journey of ascension in this lifetime and chose to exit physicality prior to the shift. All of these choices are in alignment with what their soul has decided upon before they began this chapter of this physical experience. Above all else, don't feed the fears. The majority of humans on the planet at this time are still not consciously aware of what is occurring. They see the chaos and collapse around them and go into fear. They still seek direction and guidance from the mainstream sources of information, believing it to be honest and in integrity. They still cling to the hope that the institutions that tell them they have their best interests at heart are genuine in their intent. We ask you to hold compassion for them. We remind you that going into judgment of these souls and labeling them as perhaps less than those who are awake serves no good. If you have not grasped the basic concept that we are all in this together, that the collective is a body of which we are a part, then you have a call to review your basic teachings of acceptance and unity. There is not one soul in all of creation that does not serve a purpose of moving towards the greater good for all within their current incarnation. You have no real way of knowing what another soul has chosen to experience for their own growth and evolution at this moment. Your place is not to judge or exclude others based upon the illusions of separation. Allow them space to have their own experience as you wish to be allowed space for your own. Certainly you don't have to participate in their version of reality, but remember that they are sovereign just as you. This will be an exciting finish to the year of 2016. It holds incredible experiences for you all. In love and light we leave you. Rejoice. The lighted ones.